Hey Raghunath, tell everyone about our Patreon community.
Sure, Kastuba. The Wisdom of the Sages Patreon community is an incredible online yoga resource. If you like the type of yoga wisdom and culture we share on the show, then our Patreon community is a great next step. This is a listener-supported podcast, and any level of sponsorship will unlock a wide range of live and archived classes, talks, and even workshops.
Raghunath teaches, I teach, and we have a host of other excellent teachers on topics ranging from yoga philosophy, asana classes, storytelling, Ayurveda, kirtan, cooking, meditation, and a lot more.
We even have an incredible online Bhakti 12-step recovery group.
So if you want to check it out, go to patreon.com/wisdom of the sages.
All right, let's get it on.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Live from Super Soul Farm, this is Wisdom of the Sages, a daily yoga podcast with your host, Raghunath, and co-host and senior educator at the Bhakti Center in New York, Kastuba Das. Welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome to Thursday. Thursday here at the farm. It was a chilly night last night.
Okay.
Yeah, it was cold. You know what? Me and Mara were going to come to New York City today, and we're thinking, you know what? Maybe not. Maybe we're not going to come. We're sort of we went for an incredible japa walk last night to the Shaker villages. A lot of old Shaker villages around here.
Okay.
With beautiful Shaker architecture, unbelievable Shaker architecture. Their theory is hands for work, heart for God. That was their motto. Hands for work, heart for God. And they did incredible furniture building, architecture, like incredible farming. They were like what else?
There's systems like storage.
Grain storage. The stone walls are like megalithic marvels. Like, how do they move these massive stone? It's unbelievable. They're stone walls.
Okay.
Anyway, so I don't know. Maybe we won't come to New York. What does New York have to offer me today? Except the Thursday night.
It wasn't designed for you, Raghunath. I don't know if you know that.
It wasn't designed. Yeah, it wasn't.
It wasn't made just for you.
You know, I'm a nature boy.
Okay.
Kastuba.
Good for you.
Nature boy.
You seem to be constantly trying to draw me into some kind of country city debate. I'm not going to play that game. You're just trying to set me up. I can feel it. I'm not going to. They both have their value. I'm happy if you're happy there, Raghunath.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'd love for you to come to the city. It'd be great to see you.
Sure.
Although if you came, you probably wouldn't see me anyway. So,
I might see you if I'm invited.
yeah, we'll come on down. Let's hang out.
Professor Snooky invites me to come on the chat board. Thank you. What's going on? What are our announcements we got going? We have our special announcement, Radhanath Swami coming to our very own Wisdom of the Sages retreat in New York City.
That's going to be great.
That's going to be great. I'm looking forward to that. Friday, Mara,
Friday, June 9th.
The 10th and the 11th, we have our retreat in New York City, and we're going to take a field trip to the Rath Yatra. It's always good. We're going to tell Lord Jagannath pastimes, sing great kirtan, do some yoga, and really get to hang with each other intimately. All on the rooftop of the Bhakti Center. I'm looking forward to that. Our third annual one. Yeah, that's in Friday night. Radhanath Swami will be there. So you go to thebhakticenter.org to sign up for that. There's still, I think, a couple spots for Italy, and I think there's one bed left for our Wisdom of the Sages retreat next week up here, which I'm really looking forward to. And we're going to have Sachi Nandana Swami here next week. This is great. This is the beginning of a fantastic summer. I'm looking forward to it. And I know, I'm looking forward to that.
Everything's picking up except Gus over there. I see Gus a lot. That's Gus. Right
Gus
there.
is taking a little break.
People, whenever we talk about Gus and we talk about him just lazing around, now people can see for themselves. There he is.
Also,
But
we
don't
have
do it.
this, it's unannounced yet, but I'm going to just sort of like break open the package just a little and like, ever get that a Christmas present? You just peel off a little bit of the paper. Like, what did I get? So you can see what's underneath there. I'm going to peel off the little wrapping paper right now.
All right.
Kostuba and myself and Miss Mara, after the retreat we're doing in India, we do the Wisdom of the Sages retreat in India. And then it winds up with the flower festival. The 300-hour ends. Also, we all go to the flower festival. There's that weekend of the flower festival. The following Monday, we are doing the Wisdom of the Sages retreat, 7 days in Mayapur.
Mayapur Yatra.
And it's really for people who are already sort of opted in. I'm into this Krishna thing. I'm into it. It's not for, I wouldn't say it's for new people, but if you've listened and appreciate at least about 100 episodes of the podcast, this could be for you. And Mayapur is quite wonderful. It's quite wonderful. And just to stay in Mayapur, go to all these holy places in Mayapur, very, very special. The darshan in Mayapur, the prasad in Mayapur, it's like next level.
So
if you're thinking of doing the Wisdom of the Sages in India, you just tag that to the end of it. And we can
or you
hang
could
in
even come
Mayapur.
just to that if you just want to do a week in India. Some people can only
Although
get
I
away from
find a week in India is tough, just with the flying.
I disagree, Raghunath. I think
You disagree?
if you're focused.
Oh, I disagree with you.
Okay, well,
You want to disagree with me? I'm going to disagree with you. But go ahead.
But my point is, if you actually are focused, you can have a very powerful 1 week experience in India, even if you have to travel a long way to get there.
Okay,
I agree.
I agree.
Yeah, you do agree. Okay, we're on the same page now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
announcements.
That's what we got for you. Announcements, Ms. Mara. Those were announcements. Let's hear Mara's announcements.
We have a Back to Recovery group meeting today at noon. Tomorrow at 10:30 a.m., Josh Kane is teaching an asana class for our Patreon members. And is there still time to sign up for Sage groups? Is that still open, Prabhu?
Yeah, it's still open. It may be open for sooner the better, though. Sooner the better. They're filling up, and now we start to get to the point where if you can't find a group because of the time, they're starting to fill up, and you can't find a time that works for you, then you get back to us and you let us know, and we start to try to facilitate everybody that hasn't found a group yet by creating new groups or shifting times or things like that. But sooner the better.
That's it. All right. I think we're good for announcements.
Nuggets now.
No. Kostuba. Kostuba sent me a nugget this morning. Nuggets which become takeaways, which become goodies. This is from a friend of mine, Mr. Kostuba. You didn't know he was a friend of mine.
He's not a friend of yours. He
was not a friend, but he came to my yoga class.
Did you say hello? Did you introduce? Did you say, oh, I know you?
I think I gave him a hands-on assist, though.
You're just trying to be cool about it.
And it wasn't Thomas Merton, and it wasn't Henry David Thoreau. It wasn't Richard Rohr, and it wasn't Aristotle. It was another wise man named David Duchovny.
Okay.
You might have heard of him from the X-Files. The truth is out there, Kostuba. And David Duchovny's got it.
I never saw that show. Was it?
You never saw the X-Files?
No.
What the heck?
Is it good?
It was great.
Oh, I guess
you're not a UFO. You're not a UFO guy.
You're all about the aliens.
I'm not all about them. The Vedas are all about them.
Okay.
I don't know why you're not about them.
All right. So what does he?
I think I got into Krishna consciousness because of the aliens.
What does he have to say that's so wise?
First, it's his first quote is "Good class, Raghunath." The second quote is, "My whole life, I've wanted things before I was ready. I was always pushing for the next job, the next success. I was so focused on achieving the path that I was missing some great point about life." Let me read that again. My whole life, I've wanted things before I was ready.
Okay.
I relate with that. I was always pushing for the next job, the next success. I was so focused on achieving and the path that I was missing. Wait a second. I was so focused on achieving and the path that I was missing some great point about life.
I was so focused on achieving and the path
Oh,
But I was missing some fruit.
okay.
that I was
so
missing
focused.
some great points about life.
Mm, yeah, that's called the mode of passion, right? When you say that.
Yeah, the mode of passion, and we should define what that means. Essentially, it means the idea. You could even say the misconception, right? That I don't have what I need to be happy. I need something that I don't have. I have to achieve something or get something out there. There's something external that I need to be satisfied in life.
Mm.
And so, yeah, it's interesting how he does phrase it. I like this because it I don't know of him. I don't really know anything about him except that he was in that television show and that he took one of your yoga classes. But to me, this seems like that kind of I don't know, that kind of what's the word, epiphany that we're meant to come to in life. Maybe some of us feel it for a moment and let it pass without pursuing it, but like the real courage in life means, oh, I have to pursue that. If you get this kind of epiphany in life where it's like, hold it, why am I doing all of this? You know, I'm pushing for the next job, the next success. Why do I want this job? I want a family. And why do I want that family? There's nothing wrong with any of these
Where are we
achievements.
going with all this?
Yeah, but is there a point to all of this?
Yeah.
Is there a point? Is there something that I'm meant to see? Is there some way that I'm meant to be changed by this experience? Am I missing that? There's that phrase that we can't see the forest for the trees.
Mm.
That one.
Yeah, that's what my sister told me I was in when I joined the Hare Krishna movement. I remember that quote perfectly.
No, you can't see the forest for the trees. But
I was like, yeah. I was trying to preach to my sister, don't do that. It doesn't work.
We can't grasp the main issue. The most important truth slips right by as we become caught up in the details of life, right?
Mm-hmm.
We can't understand our life as a whole. We're missing the big picture of what this is really all about. Like they use that phrase, can't see the forest because of the trees. Like, like say like in a business setting or something, like we have a manager that's so caught up in the day to day that they're missing out on what we're trying to achieve on, in a larger way.
Sure.
And I think that I was just gonna say, I think that unless we take that idea and apply to our entire life, look at our life with that. Yes, there's details, but there's a bigger picture. Unless, even if we go into that, like maybe we don't have any proof for that, right? Maybe it's meaningless, right? But if you don't at least try to, engage with seeing the world that way, that there is something more that I'm meant to understand about life. There is some lessons I'm meant to learn. There is some transformation that's meant to take place. If we don't consciously engage with that kind of thought, we are sure to miss the point, right? It's like we are sure to get caught up in the details. We're sure to chase the externals and miss the broader point.
When I read this, I just think of, this concept of Rajaguna, where I'm waiting for the next thing to happen, even while immersed in the thing I'm in right now.
Mm-hmm.
I find this is like a sort of a common reoccurring theme in my life.
Very common in most people's lives.
Yeah, and it's sort of one of those pull over. I'm going pretty fast. I'm going to pull over and just check my map because I might be speeding forward and I missed my exit. What good is my speeding
in slightly the wrong direction, and the faster I go, the further I'm getting from my goal.
Exactly. And also, it's like, am I just busy doing nothing? Why am I so busy? And I think that's a big part of our spiritual journey, is to really question, like, why am I doing what I'm doing?
Yeah.
Is it is it to get more stuff? Is it to get more things? You know, I was thinking about happiness isn't about, you know, all the things I have in my life and we get that because there's a lot of things I want and there's a lot of things that I use and there's a lot of things, period. But it's really the who's that make all the difference in my life and who is in my life. And that's what gives me happiness. There's on my deathbed, I'm not going to say, Mara, pull my F-150 up to the bed so I can just look at I might actually, but I don't want to spend time with my truck. I want to spend my time with my people in my life, you know? And so it's very easy to get in a working thing because I think I'm going to make something so I can get more stuff. But my happiness is coming from the people in my life and not just the stuff in my life. And
But Raghunath, I think even that, right? Like Bhagavatam Tom is trying to push us even beyond that. Like I think what you just said was like a sattvic thing to say.
it is a sattvic thing to say, yeah.
But even that, it's like even your relationship with the people in your life, if it's not seen in the context of this ultimate goal of life, then even those relationships, you know, you derive some enjoyment from them, and then poof, that's gone too. Right.
Wah, 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 wah,
You know, I suppose there's.
I understand what you're saying.
Huh?
I totally understand what you were saying, but I was taking it on a sattvic level.
Yeah, but you know, I suppose there are like two ways that one could approach life. And I'd imagine a lot of people say, well, there's no way of knowing, so they don't even bother. But like one view would be that there's a purpose to all of this, and I'm meant to understand it, and life is about understanding it. Or the other, that it's meaningless, that there is no purpose to it, that there is nothing to understand, right? Which to me is a very dark way of looking at life.
It's a very dark way,
and it's not very imaginative, and it has more to do with one's cycle. I mean, I suppose people from that perspective would throw it back the other way too, and they'd say, well, it's just your own psychological disposition. You know, you need a crutch. Oh, you know, you're afraid of, you know, we could analyze
what makes people
have.
existentialists and what makes people believe in a higher power.
Yeah, but let's assume that there's some. Here's a mind experiment, okay, Raghunath? Imagine that we're like ants in an ant farm or something like that. You know, speaking of aliens, you ever hear that band Alien Ant Farm?
No, I haven't.
You know, really? Okay,
no. Are
they
aliens?
one of those Warped Tour kind
humans. Oh yeah, Alien. Okay.
Alien Ant Farm. You heard of them? I was trying to think of what that name means, you know, but I think what it means is like we're living in the ant farm. The aliens are checking us out. Right?
You really thought about this, so staying up, laying in your bed with your eyes open, alien ant farm. What do they mean by that? It probably meant nothing. They're probably a bunch of like teenagers coming up with names, and you're like.
But you know, I think I was telling you even on the show that at this new wing of this natural history museum that's like a few blocks from where I live.
Oh yeah, what's it called again?
Alien Ant Farm.
Oh, Alien Ant Farm.
Yeah.
Wait a second. That's the name of the wing?
No, what are you talking about? Alien Ant Farm is
what was the name of the wing of the building?
It's named after somebody. I don't know.
I thought it was like insect.
No, within there they have like an insectorium, I think.
Oh, insectorium.
Yeah.
That's a good name for a band.
We're insectorium. And within that insectorium, there's like this, it's almost like a table. It's a big round table, and it's lit up bright from underneath.
Yeah.
And there's all these ants in there. I mean.
Oh, the living ants?
Living ants moving around.
Oh, all right.
And like even they make like a kind of like this long bridge in there, which zigzags. And you see ants, and you know how, like I've seen this in Colombia, where they have like ants carry these little leaves on their back.
Sometimes, yes.
Yeah. And like in Colombia, I've seen like 50-yard, like, you know, line of these ants running back and forth, carrying those little leaves.
They're incredibly dutiful ants.
Yeah, they pick up one big leaf. It's like 4 times the size of their body, and they carry that leaf like a long way, and then they turn around and rush back in the other direction to grab the next one. Meanwhile, like there's a row of like thousands of them coming with more leaves, you know?
It's amazing. And if you were to like kick them, they wouldn't be, you think after all their work and they're trying to build something, if you were to kick them and destroy their
give up.
line, they don't even take a break to say, "Oh crap, we worked so hard on that." Oh, and they don't lament
is there a
one
way to
bit.
prevent
They're
that?
like, "Back to work."
That's right.
They're
back
like
to
the
work,
perfect
exactly.
employees.
That's right. And so like in that museum, they have that table and they have that bridge, and you can see like there's an ant carrying one of those leaves. You know, I don't
Mhm.
even know. They're just probably going back and forth with the leaf.
And there's a plan. They've communicated a plan with that leaf.
Yeah,
Like we've got a plan from higher authorities in the ant ant hierarchy. Like who comes up with that plan?
Well, they
And
feel
how
the
do they
need.
communicate that plan?
But here's my point: is that
Okay,
so
you
we're
got
in the
other points with this? Okay.
we're in the museum and we're looking down at them,
Yes.
examining their behavior.
And you're saying there's someone looking at us, watching us?
Well, here's
Is that
the
where you're
thought
going with this?
Here's the thought experiment, right? Let's assume that we're living in the alien ant farm and we're the ants.
Oh my gosh. And they're saying like, watch them destroy themselves. Isn't this interesting?
Well, no, not even necessarily that, but it's kind of like if there's someone watching us, which these Vedic teachings are saying there is. Right?
Yeah. Isn't that interesting?
There's the
higher
devas,
beings,
the gods, the higher beings. In that sense, we're in the alien ant farm.
You're never alone.
Or you could say that Paramatma is always there, that Lord Vishnu is within the heart. So if we're the ants in the alien ant farm, first question is, are we ants in the alien ant farm? And then let's play
This
with
is
the
so
idea-
X-Files already, this show.
Okay, well,
This
I guess it
episode
was
is
meant to
so
be.
X-Files.
And if we're the ants in the alien ant farm and our behavior is being observed, how am I holding up to that analysis? Am I or like they have these experiments, cruel experiments with like mice where they give them like cocaine,
Oh yeah.
and the mouse can keep getting hits of cocaine, and they find that the mouse will keep doing it until it dies. Like it'll do it until it has a heart attack, right?
Yeah.
Like, are we those mice? Are we those ants in the alien ant farm? And with not even on a broad level of like our entire life, or even on a moment to moment basis, if my behavior is being observed by higher beings, am I behaving wisely, or am I an ignorant ant that's acting irrationally? Right. When someone confronts me in a way that's uncomfortable, do I respond like the ant in the ant farm, the ignorant ant, the ant that's not conscious of the broader picture? Or do I respond by saying, yes, I meant to grow through this. I meant to learn to control my mind, my words. I meant to control my senses. I meant to work towards that higher goal always, and be shaped, allow this world to shape me or to form me to become that higher being that I meant to become. Can I see the bigger picture? Can I operate in consciousness of that bigger picture on a moment-to-moment basis in my life? Or am I ignorant ant in the alien ant farm?
I like this.
Mind experiment. Let's play with that today, Raghunath, okay? I want you...
I will. I'll be thinking like that, too. Who's watching us, and what are they? Are they laughing? Oh, these guys.
All right.
What are they doing?
And we just have a few more verses left in this chapter, Raghunath.
All right, let's bring it on. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudirayat. Before reciting our Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supremmost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayeshu bhadreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya bhagavati utamashloke bhaktir bhavati naishtaki. By regular attendance in classes in the Bhagavatam, and by rendering service to the pure devotees, all that is troublesome to the heart will become eradicated. And loving service to the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, will be established as an irrevocable fact. Om Jnana Timarandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmadatam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my teachers are opening my eyes with a torchlight of knowledge. I offer my obeisances at their lotus feet. Reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 14, Text 44.
We're wrapping it up.
We're wrapping
Final
it up here.
messages.
This is Sukadev Goswami speaking to Maharaj Prickett about Bharat Maharaj. My dear king, the activities of Bharat Maharaj are wonderful. He gave up everything difficult for others to give up.
Well,
He gave up his
namely?
kingdom. We read this, right? He gave up his kingdom, his family, his wife. His opulence was so great that even the demigods envied it. Yet he
I don't
gave it
think
up.
we did read it. I think it's saying the same thing in 2 verses, one after
Okay.
the next.
Okay. It was quite befitting a great personality like him to be a great devotee. He could renounce everything because he was so attracted to the beauty, opulence, reputation, knowledge, strength, and renunciation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Krishna is so attractive that one, huh?
I was just saying, I think those 2 sentences work together. And it was quite befitting of a great personality like him to be a great devotee. Well, why? How so? Because he was so attracted to Krishna's qualities, he was able to give everything up. That's why, right?
Krishna is so attractive that one can give up all desirable things for his sake. Indeed, even liberation is considered insignificant for those whose minds are attracted to the loving service of the Lord. This, yeah, you know what we need in this world, Kustu, but we need descriptions of real heroes.
Oh,
Because otherwise the media creates these heroes for us that we're supposed to like get into and fall in love with, and it's really got to do with some technique. I can sing, I can rap, I can dance, but there's no character, there's no substance behind heroes these days. Vedic heroes are admirable, not just because they're learned or they're talented, but by their character. And it sort of sets a dropped pin for adults and children. Like, that's the direction we want to go. That's actually success. And then all their other great things. He's a great astrologer. He's a great pundit. He's a great, she or he is a great dancer. It's got to do with their character behind it. And so when you read these descriptions of Bharat Maharaj, oh, he's a great leader. No, you can hear about the qualities of a king, and you think, wow, these guys are loaded. They must get whatever they want. They get to travel. Who cares? It's really the qualities of Bharat Maharaj that are attracting us and sort of touching our heart. The fact that he can give everything up, this concept of renunciation, is actually a great quality, that they can have whatever they want. They can be, you know what? That means nothing to me. That's quite impressive.
Well, that is the message here, right? And we've been discussing this the past few days, but it's the broader message of the Bhagavatam, that the satisfaction of bhakti, the satisfaction of devotion, the satisfaction of ultimately of divine love, it makes the satisfaction found through material, 2 things, right? The satisfaction found through material success, as well as even the satisfaction found through liberation. That means material success, I want the things of this world. Liberation means I renounce the things of this world. Material success means I want to enjoy the things of this material world. And liberation means I want to transcend the sufferings of this world. Either, which is seen as higher, right? Like enjoying the material things in life, that seems like you're really the ant in the alien ant farm when you're really caught up in that, right? It's like we're looking at, the higher beings are looking down and saying,
yeah,
look, you're trying to enjoy something, you get a little bit of it, and then you suffer. You get a little, and you still haven't learned the lesson. How many times will it take for this ant to learn the lesson? Will it ever learn the lesson? And then liberation means, oh, you know what? I learned a lesson. I learned an important lesson that real deeper satisfaction doesn't happen on the material level. It's something spiritual. And to find it, I need to let go of the material things. Okay, you learned a lesson, but have you learned the highest lesson? And so here again, at the end of 7 chapters of Bharat Maharaj's life and teachings, this is driven home. That it says here, at the end of this, Krishna is so attractive, right? If you love him, if you have devotion for him, Krishna is so attractive that one can give up all desirable things, all material things for his sake. Indeed, even liberation, both of the things, right? One of the things of this world or liberation, even liberation is considered insignificant for those whose minds are attracted to the loving service of the Lord. That's the message of the Bhagavatam right there. And you know what, Raghunath, you know what word was used here for insignificant? It's a word that you know. Palgu.
Palgu.
Yeah.
False. False.
Yeah, but Yeah, it can be apparently it can be translated in different ways. Like it could mean insignificant, but also we're very familiar with this word uh, being translated as like false or what would you say? I guess false, right? In other words, it's not what it appears to be.
Hmm.
And there's that, what example they always give of that?
Falgu Varagya Uchyate.
Yeah, but of the Falgu River, right?
Huh.
You've heard of
No.
that river?
What's the Falgu River?
That there's this river, and Radha Swami's been there. He told me about it. But
It's a
there's this river in
false
India called the
river?
Falgu River, which it looks like land, but
Hmm.
but just underneath, like it means like 2 feet under it or something like that. There's a river flowing underneath it. You
Is it
understand?
land?
Yeah.
Is it an underwater river?
It's an underwater river, and you can just dig in just a little bit, and you can see, oh, this is a river. Like you couldn't build a house on that because you're really on top of a river, right?
Right.
It looks like land, but it's not really land. It's really
Yeah, according to the different types of rock strata, water will just
okay.
go underground.
Geology.
Yes.
Part-time.
Well, because we have a creek at Super Soul Farm. There's a creek, and
Uh-huh.
and my friend digs ponds, and he told me, you can you can have a pond, and if you want to expand your pond, you got to be careful because you could hit a level
Right.
where it drains the entire pond. You might have a
Uh-huh.
clay pond, but if you dig a little deeper, it might go into some type of
You lose
sediment,
the whole thing.
and you lose the whole thing. The whole thing where my friend said he had to divert creek. People say, hey, I got a creek going through my yard. Can you divert it? And then you try to divert it, and then the whole thing goes underground.
Mm.
And then it manifests somewhere else, quarter
Like
mile down the road or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, yes, Falgu River.
It's considered like a holy river. And when you go to, I think the way he described it, there's all these priests there, and they've dug their hole, and like they'll pull up some of that water for you and do a little ritual for you, something like that. But
I want to go.
so anyway, here it's saying that not only I would assume that one could interpret this verse because that word is used, it's being translated that liberation becomes insignificant when compared to bhakti. But you could also say that liberation is seen as false, right? Like it seems like the eternal
false
answer,
goal,
but it's
the
not.
false goal.
Yeah, fool's gold. Yeah.
No, I said the false goal, but also
gold.
fool's gold.
What's fool's gold? Let's throw
Also
that one in
fool's
there.
gold.
Okay.
When's the first time you ever heard about fool's gold?
I suppose I was a little kid.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some television
go
show.
on. I think it was on a Little House on the Prairie episode. Truthfully,
some old bearded guy. It was fool's gold. Right, something like that.
Yes. No one even knows what I'm talking about. Anyway, it was a good book. It was good TV series.
Now, text 45. This is a beautiful verse, Raghunath. You know what this is? This
What
is we're going to zoom back to Maharaj Bharat as a deer and hear his prayer as a deer. And this prayer that he prayed as a deer on his deathbed.
You think his like hooves were touching like in
I
Namaste?
think he was rolled up in a little ball, yeah, and just like lying on the ground and praying sincerely from the heart. And it's a beautiful. This is a beautiful. Poetically, it's a beautiful prayer, and I think this is a prayer worth anybody memorizing and learning and keeping with them and chanting at the time of their own death.
Ooh, all right. Ready for this?
Yeah.
Even though the body, text 45, even though in the body of a deer, Bharat Maharaj did not forget the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, when he was giving up the body of a deer, he loudly uttered the following prayer. Here goes.
What did it sound like with it as saying it as a deer?
The Supreme Personality of Godhead is sacrifice personified. He gives the results of ritualistic activities. He is the protector of religious systems, the personification of mystic yoga, the source of all knowledge, the controller of the entire creation, and the super soul in every living entity. He is beautiful and attractive. I am quitting this body, offering obeisances unto him, and hoping that I may perpetually engage in his transcendental loving service. Uttering this, Maharaj Bharat left the body of a deer, Man, I hope Gus says that prayer on his deathbed.
Gus looks like he's ready to say it over there.
Gus might be dying right now back there.
For all we know, that's exactly Gus's consciousness right now.
You know what? It very well could be. Think about it. He gets born into a family of devotees as a puppy. He eats prasadam. He licks the feet of the devotees. Many swamis have come to Super Soul Farm, given him blessings. Everybody likes Gus. There's every chance he could be deer-like.
Yeah, yeah,
like
Maharaj
like Bart Maharaj.
You know, this is here's the Sanskrit. You ready?
Yep.
Yajnaya dharma pataye vidinay punaya yogaya sankhya shirase prakritishvaraya narayanaya haraye nama ityudharam hasyan mrigitvam apiya samudhajarhara. Nice, isn't it?
Yeah, beautiful.
And we see here, here's the thing, Raghunath. Right, here's the thing. He's in this prayer, even, you know, it's beautiful poetry. It's using the suffix aya again and again, right? Yagnaya, naipunaya, yogaya, narayanaya, haraya, you know, so again and again. That suffix means unto. Like if I would say Raghunathaya,
Unto,
you know, it's like I'm giving you something, right? Unto Raghunathaya.
Like,
so like if I were to pray to you, if I were to offer you my respect.
You know, we chant these mantras, Narayanaya.
Yeah. You know,
Krishnaya.
What is it? Krishnaya, Devaki.
Krishnaya.
Devaki.
Govindaya. Gopi Jana Vallabhaya.
Krishnaya Devikanaya. What is that verse? I can't think of it now. You know, the
Gayatri
one
mantra.
from Queen Kunti?
Oh, yeah. I don't know it.
Devaki Nandanaya Cha.
Oh, yeah.
Nanda Gopa Kumaraya. Govindaya Namo Namaha.
Govindaya Namo Namaha.
Yeah. So here as a deer.
Krishnaya Vasudevaya.
Krishnaya Vasudevaya.
Devaya.
Devaki
Nandanaya Cha.
Nanda Gopa Kumaraya.
Govindaya Namo Namaha.
Govindaya Namo Namaha. Yes.
We got it. It took both of us to get that verse, but we got it.
We did it. That's in Queen Kunti's prayers, beautiful prayers, you know. But here the deer is saying, unto you, he says, Yagna. You see, it's beautiful poetry, but it's also, there's important truths being conveyed through this. You are yoga, you are sacrifice personified. In other words, people are studying the Vedas, they're performing rituals, sacrifices, they're performing rituals to achieve things in this world, but you are the personification of sacrifice. Unto you who are sacrifice. Yagnaya. You are Yagna, and unto you I offer my respects. Because, you know, this is a common theme. We find it in Bhagavad Gita, we find it throughout Bhagavatam, where it's said, you know, Krishna says, I am the sacrifice, I am the sacrificial butter, I am the mantras that are being chanted in the sacrifice, I'm the herbs that are being offered in the sacrifice. It's all me. Like, see the bigger picture. I might get totally absorbed in doing rituals to achieve something of this world. Then I'm like the ant in the alien ant farm. I haven't learned. I'm not seeing the forest because of the trees. I'm not seeing the full picture, right? He calls him Yogaya, right? You are yoga personified. I may do yoga for so many different purposes, right? I might do it to get healthy. I might do it to become attractive. I might do it as some kind of form of therapy, you know, like physical therapy. But the whole point of yoga is to connect with yoga personified, right? To connect with, ultimately, with Krishna, who's behind it all.
This is what Prabhupada says in the purport. The purpose of Astanga Yoga. Here we go, people. You want to know what the purpose is? We got it right here for you. The purpose of Astanga Yoga, as stated by Madhvacharya, is to link or connect with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The goal is not to display some material perfections, being it even health, perfect health, ideal health, great longevity, or a mystic power. It's not some material perfection. It's actually the connection is what the soul is actually looking for.
Yeah. So exact. And so Maharaj Bharata in that deer body understood the whole picture, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so he's making this beautiful prayer, right? You are unto you, your sacrifice. I might have spent lifetimes as a king performing sacrifice, but really, it's all coming from you. All the ingredients in the sacrifice, the person that's meant to receive the sacrifice, the person that offers the results of the sacrifice, you're behind it all. So why not go directly to you, right? Same with yoga, yogaya. You are yoga personified. Let's hear what he said again. He says, the supreme personality of God, who is sacrifice personified, he gives the results of ritualistic activities. He is the protector of the systems of Dharma. He's Dharma personified, right? He is the personification of mystic yoga, the source of all knowledge, the controller of the entire creation, and the super soul within every living being, right?
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, maybe even more important than that, right? He is beautiful and attractive. So I'm quitting this body, offering obeisances unto him, and hoping for what? Hoping for the things of this world? No. Hoping to be relieved from the sufferings of this world? No. Hoping that I may perpetually engage in his transcendental loving service. Uttering this, Maharaj Bharat left that body of that little deer.
Let's
Perfect
get
time.
another verse in here before time runs out. This is good. Devotees interested in hearing and chanting. Shravanam, Kirtanam. Do you know that's the name of Mara's new scarf company she's starting? Shravanam Scarves.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm serious. She's going to sell them at the farm, at the retreat, these scarves.
All right.
Because she listens and then she knits. She
right
knits
into it.
the Bhagavatam right into the scarf.
And you wrap that around yourself whenever
Yeah.
you're doing your Shravana.
Yeah, Shravanam scarves.
It's like the it's like those Harinam chutters.
Yes, you wrap yourself in the holy name.
Yeah.
Devotees interested in hearing and chanting, Shravanam Kirtanam, regularly discuss the pure characteristics of Bharat Maharaj and praise his activities. If one submissively hears and chants about the all-auspicious Maharaj Bharat, one's lifespan and material opulences certainly increase. One can become very famous and easily attain promotion to the heavenly planets or attain liberation by merging into the existence of the Lord. So this is like the Falshruti, the benedictions from hearing about Bharat Maharaj. Whatever one desires can be attained simply by hearing, chanting, and glorifying the activities of Maharaj Bharat. In this way, one can fulfill all his material and spiritual desires. One does not have to ask anyone else for these things, for simply by studying the life of Bharat Maharaj, one can attain all desirable things. So it sort of like baits you. Yeah, we're going to give you everything. You just listen to this story. And what happens when you get too into bhakti? You're like, I don't care about anything any longer.
Yeah.
And therefore, all your desires actually become fulfilled. Because you don't have any material desires.
In a way, what it's saying is that you may have read the Vedas and become convinced that you have to worship every different god for all the different things that they offer. If I want rain for my crops, worship Indra. If I want wealth, worship Lakshmi. If I want this, worship that. And here it's saying, that's not the point. But the fact is, if you just simply through the sacrifice of hearing and chanting, Shravana and Kirtana, those things, any of that can come, because ultimately Krishna's behind it all, right? So focus on devotion and don't worry about anything else, right?
Krishna will give you everything you want anyway.
Huh?
Yeah, and if you don't, and Krishna will give you whatever you want anyway. And by the time we become pure devotees, our wants are very minimal. And
yeah,
our pain is in our wants.
Oh, Raghunath, I almost used another nugget today. And you're kind of going there. I'll read it now. You ready?
If I can squirrel me a nugget.
It's not a squirrel. It's right on topic. He says, this is coming from someone named Pico Iyer.
Okay. Pico? Or Kiko?
Pico Iyer. He's an author, a writer. He says, I'm no Buddhist monk. Right?
That's his opening statement. I'm no Buddhist monk.
That's his opening statement. I'm no Buddhist monk. And I can't say I'm in love with renunciation in itself. All right.
He says, but
Right.
at some point, I decided that for me at least, happiness arose out of all I didn't want or need, not all I did.
All I didn't want. I don't get
Should I say it
Pico.
again?
What does he mean? No, just tell me what you think it means.
Well, let me say it again. Let me summarize. I'm not a Buddhist. I'm not one of these guys that's a natural renunciate. That's not me, he's saying, right? Like, I'm the kind of guy who's
Right.
tried to enjoy the things of this world. But at a certain point, it kind of dawned on me. I had an epiphany, right?
Epiphany.
That real happiness, it was arising when I was giving up the things that I thought I wanted or needed, not when I was achieving the things that I wanted or needed, right? That as I began to realize I don't need that to be happy. Happiness doesn't come from this external. Happiness is that I started becoming happy when I started letting go of all the things that I needed. Right? Anything you
Yes.
want to share on that? You want to? Nodding doesn't work great on podcasts that are audio. But, yes. So that's connected to what you were just saying, Raghunath.
Yes. What did I say? I thought what I said was pretty quotable too. Your wants cause you pain. It's in the
Well,
desiring.
you're saying that as we perform bhakti, all our material desires can be fulfilled through that as well. But actually, what happens is we let go of them, and we become purified. Dhruva Maharaj is the prime example of that in Bhagavatam, right? Where he had a big list of what he wanted on the material level, and with that motive, he began to perform mystic yoga, Ashtanga yoga. Right?
I don't know if it made it to my book or not, but I had this sort of bogus guru when I was a teenager. His name was Guru Steve, and he wasn't a devotee at all. But I'd go into his place, and me and a bunch of other people, we'd chant these mantras for stuff. Mantras for wealth, mantras for peace, mantras for a spouse, mantras for happiness, stuff like that. And because I was hanging out with devotees and hearing from the devotees as well, after someone started chanting for wealth, afterwards I grabbed a friend of mine and I said, I don't buy this. He goes, mantras shouldn't be. I started parroting the Bhagavad Gita. I was like, it doesn't seem like mantras should be chanting for stuff because we're going to lose all our stuff anyway. Shouldn't we be chanting just for love?
Oh, the aliens were looking down on you at that point and saying, "Oh, he's getting it. Right? He's
getting it. He's getting the trick.
He's breaking through."
And the person, my friend was with me was all, well, what should we be chanting for? He goes, I don't know, but those Krishna guys say those Krishna guys down on Greenwich Avenue, they say if you chant their mantra, you get rid of all your desires. I was like, that, it's like,
you said that?
It is the highest thing. Because
who said that?
I said that only just because I was parroting what they said.
Okay.
Like, well, what mantra should we chant?
Right.
I said, well, they say if you
mantra?
chant their mantras, you get rid of all your desires. You don't chant for stuff. You chant the mantra to get rid of your desire for the stuff.
Right. Was it Namo Renge Kyo? Is that what they're chanting?
Oh, that was one. That was a different group that I was with. And but then there was some other interesting crazy guru I
Once
had.
I was standing outside the Ritz with a couple friends of mine.
Yeah.
And that band Black Uhuru was playing. You know them?
Yeah. Yep. Black Uhuru.
And Mayor's like, oh yeah. And
yeah,
I was we were trying to sometimes, when we were kids, sometimes you just go to a show and try to finagle your way in one way or another.
Every show, yeah.
In CBC, you used to take that sticker and lick your hand and get someone else who had already gone in and rub it on your hand. Did you do that? And then you go in and you show that.
I did that at the fair, but not at CBGB's. No,
CB's that was like a regular.
Go on.
Getting in. And but otherwise, you might get in the back, sneak in while someone's not looking, whatever. So we're kind of like on that level. Like, can we find a way? It would probably cost like $10 max to get in, but that was like a fortune to us, back then.
Yeah, I know.
And so we're trying to get in, and then some monk came along
but just walking down the street. You know how they hand out little things to you, and they, and they were encouraging us to chant Namo Renge Kyo for any desire that we have, and they gave us a little card with Namo Renge Kyo. So we
Well, I tell that story hanging out with the
trying to get
Namyo Renkyo Buddhist monks, and I tell that story in my book too. Okay, go on. Sorry. Did you get in? Did you chant to get in?
You told that story. Anyway, we tried. That became our point. We were sitting there chanting Namo Renge Kyo to try to get into this show. Didn't work.
Did it work?
No, it didn't work.
It didn't work. You got to chant it with more devotion.
May have been it.
Is the message here.
Yeah, but now I look back.
You got to become more devoted to your material desires. I think that's the takeaway here.
See, the point was you were passing the alien ant farm test, and I wasn't. Right? You saw through it. You said there's got to be something more important.
And you know how I saw through it? I heard from the devotees.
There you go.
I didn't even intend to hear from the devotees. I just went there for prasad, but I heard the Bhagavad Gita spoken by the Bhaktivedantas, and it affected my consciousness.
That's when
and who can argue with love is the highest thing?
When you are hearing from other devotees, the aliens are like, oh, they got it. Sometimes the aliens come themselves to speak this to us, Raghunath. I'm speaking about aliens. I thought
yes.
Getting so silent on the show.
Yes.
Are you just tired, Raghunath?
What is an alien? They're not from here. They come here to deliver the message of Godhead.
That's right.
Yeah. The pure devotee just manifests a body just to liberate us. Yada yada hidharmasya glanir bhavati Bharata. Right?
That's right.
Right? Krishna comes or empowers a person to speak truth. It's been happening forever.
Speaking of speaking truth.
Okay. Miss Mara, give us something to take away.
I got some good stuff today.
Okay.
Perhaps some goodies?
I got some goodies for you. Don't get so caught up in the details of life that you miss the big picture.
Don't get caught up.
What good is speeding if you're headed the wrong direction?
It's no good.
Yep.
Better you're going slow if you're going the wrong direction.
Yeah. The who's in your life are more important than the what's.
Very good. I like that.
Material success and liberation is insignificant compared to bhakti.
Fundamental
a little clunky, but I like the point of it. Yes.
The goal of yoga is divine connection.
Yeah.
Focus on devotion and don't worry about anything else.
Focus on devotion.
Our pain is in our wants.
Our pain is in our wants. All right. I made it to the takeaways.
And are we ignorant ants in the alien ant farm?
Alien ant farm.
Are we ignorant ants? Interesting concept. Or are we enlightened ants?
Had you heard of them, Raghunath? Now that you think about
Alien Ant Farm? Can't remember. There was another alien band. I can't remember.
You can remember, you just don't want to say it.
I'm serious. What? I'm gonna ask Young Tommy Foster. Young Tommy Foster, is there another alien band? Alien
Sex Fiend.
Alien Sex Fiend. Yes. I didn't remember that, but thank you for reminding me. I never even thought about that.
Oh, Raghunath. That was right there.
Alien Sex Fiend. I never thought what that meant, but
Alien
okay.
Farm.
So everybody, be a good day.
Tired at the end of the show, Raghunath. Your battery just ran out.
I did. I was sort of like the Energizer bunny before I got the Energizer in me. I just sort of I put out a lot of energy in bursts, and I come out of this show sweating. My butt sweats, my armpits sweat. I'm a sweaty mess after the show.
You got to meditate on the turtle, not the hair. Just
okay, that's a takeaway, my friend. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. Hey, others out there. I want to give a shout out to the others. There's people we never see on Zoom, but they listen on a regular basis, and it's quite impressive. And there's millions of them out there, and we get these messages from hey, I'm another. I've been listening every day for 2 years. Quite impressed, Mr. Other, Mr. or Mrs. Others. But drop us a line. I want everybody today, if you're not doing it already, just follow us on YouTube and subscribe and write some comments and hit the bell icon to get notifications. It helps us on YouTube. We want this message to get out as much as possible. You can share the links from YouTube if you like things, or you can share our stuff on Instagram and tag us, because part of this practice is giving it away to other people. Nothing easier to do that in social media. Woo! I want to thank everybody who joins us on Zoom. You too can join us on Zoom. It only costs to join us on Zoom. It costs $500 a month.
What are you saying?